We live in a world that simultaneously worships and chastises the specialist. Pick one thing and stick to it, they say. But what if you've got the attention span of a squirrel on caffeine and the interests of a kid in a candy store? Spoiler alert, you're not alone. Humans are inherently generalists, curious creatures with a penchant for poking their noses into multiple honeypots. We're explorers by nature, wired to seek out new experiences and knowledge, even if society insists we should focus on just one path. Think about it. Since the dawn of time, humans have been generalists. Early Homo sapiens didn't survive by specializing in just one skill. They hunted, gathered, crafted tools, created art, told stories, and even dabbled in early forms of music and dance. Fast forward a few millennia, and you've got Renaissance polymaths like Leonardo da Vinci, who painted masterpieces, designed futuristic machines, and still had time to ponder the mysteries of the human body. The idea that one must specialize to succeed is a relatively modern concept, born from the Industrial Revolution's need for efficiency and productivity. In today's hyper-specialized world, the pressure to conform to a single career path or interest can feel suffocating. You're told to focus, to streamline, to become the best at one thing. But here's the secret. Being a generalist is not a flaw, it's a superpower. Having multiple interests doesn't mean you're scatterbrained, it means you're multifaceted. It means you have the capacity to see connections where others see none, and to innovate in ways that specialists might not even consider. It's the reason why so many breakthroughs come from the cross-pollination of different fields. So, if you find yourself drawn to coding, painting, cooking, and learning obscure languages all at the same time, rejoice. You're not an oddball, you're a modern-day Renaissance person. You're following in the footsteps of history's greatest thinkers and creators. Contrary to popular belief, being a jack of all trades is not the quicksand of productivity it's often made out to be. In fact, history is littered with the stories of polymaths, who defied the odds and excelled across multiple domains. Let's take a stroll through the annals of history and meet some of these legendary figures who laughed in the face of specialization. First up, Leonardo da Vinci. The quintessential Renaissance man, Leonardo was more than just the guy who painted the Mona Lisa. He was an artist, scientist, engineer, anatomist, and inventor. He sketched designs for helicopters and tanks centuries before they became a reality, dissected cadavers to understand human anatomy, and even explored the world of botany. Leonardo's diverse interests didn't dilute his genius, they fueled it. His ability to cross-pollinate ideas from different fields led to innovations that were far ahead of his time. Next, consider Benjamin Franklin. Franklin was a founding father, diplomat, inventor, writer, and scientist. He invented the lightning rod, bifocals, and the Franklin stove, all while playing a pivotal role in the founding of the United States. He even managed to dabble in musical instrument design and created the glass harmonica. Franklin's wide-ranging curiosity and willingness to explore multiple fields allowed him to make significant contributions to society and science. He thrived because of his broad interests. Then there's Steve Jobs, the modern-day polymath. Jobs revolutionized the world of technology, but he didn't stop there. He was also deeply interested in design, calligraphy, and even Zen Buddhism. His fascination with calligraphy, for instance, influenced the typography and aesthetic design of Apple's products. Jobs' ability to draw from a wide array of interests and disciplines was key to his innovative approach to technology and design. However, let's not don our rose-tinted glasses just yet. Managing multiple interests isn't all rainbows and intellectual euphoria. First, there's the risk of becoming a dabbler rather than a master. When you spread your attention too thin, you might never achieve deep expertise in any one area. Second, the sheer cognitive load can be overwhelming. Jumping from coding to painting to learning Swahili can leave your brain feeling like a scrambled egg. It's easy to burn out when your mental energy is constantly being siphoned off in different directions. The constant switching between tasks can also lead to a lack of focus and productivity, turning your noble quest for knowledge into a frustrating exercise in futility. Lastly, there's the peril of unfinished projects. Enthusiasm for new interests often wanes once the initial novelty wears off. Your life can quickly become littered with half-read books, abandoned hobbies, and unfinished projects, each a reminder of a passion that fizzled out before it could fully ignite. It's like being a serial dater who never commits, always chasing the next shiny thing, but never settling down to build something lasting. This cycle of perpetual novelty seeking can be exhausting. It's a dopamine-driven roller coaster where each new interest promises a thrilling high, but often leads to an anticlimactic drop. The initial excitement propels you forward, but as soon as the challenge becomes real, as soon as it requires sustained effort and commitment, your interest wanes. You abandon ship and hop onto the next sparkling idea that catches your eye, convinced that this time, it'll be different. The problem is that each unfinished project takes a toll. It chips away at your confidence and leaves a trail of self-doubt in its wake. You begin to question your ability to stick with anything, to see something through to completion. It's a hit to your self-esteem, making you wonder if you're destined to be a lifelong dabbler, forever skimming the surface of things without ever diving deep. Moreover, the clutter of unfinished projects can become a mental and physical burden. Every time you walk past that dusty telescope, or glance at the stack of unread language textbooks, you're reminded of your unfulfilled aspirations. It can feel like 1,000 tiny failures weighing on your psyche, creating a sense of chaos and disorder in your life. The more interests you accumulate without following through, the more overwhelming it becomes, leading to a vicious cycle of avoidance and procrastination. So here are some tips on how to navigate this dazzling multiverse of interests without getting lost in the cosmic chaos. The first step is to prioritize. Yes, I know everything seems equally fascinating, but let's be real. Unless you've found the secret to immortality, time is finite. Identify which interests resonate most with your core values and long-term goals, and which ones can wait a little. What excites you the most? What could potentially turn into a meaningful pursuit rather than a fleeting fancy? Rank them, and focus on the top few. This doesn't mean you abandon the rest forever. It just means you give your primary interests the attention they deserve. Set specific goals. Once you've identified your top interests, set specific, achievable goals for each. Vague intentions like learn to play the guitar or write a novel are recipes for procrastination. Break them down into smaller, manageable tasks. Practice guitar for 30 minutes a day, or write 500 words a day. Clear, actionable goals provide a roadmap and a sense of progress, helping you stay committed even when the initial excitement wears off. Time management, the bane of every polymath's existence. Create a schedule that allocates dedicated time slots for each interest. This might seem rigid, but structure breeds freedom. Knowing you have time set aside for your various passions allows you to immerse yourself fully in each without guilt or distraction. Use techniques like time blocking or the Pomodoro method to maximize productivity and prevent burnout. Know when to quit. Sometimes, despite your best efforts, an interest just doesn't pan out. It's important to recognize when it's time to let go. Holding on to a hobby or project that no longer excites you can drain your energy and enthusiasm for other pursuits. Quitting isn't a sign of failure. It's a strategic decision to reallocate your resources to something more fulfilling. Be honest with yourself about what's worth pursuing and what's become a sunk cost. Navigating the multiverse of interests is about balance and intentionality. It's about harnessing your curiosity and passion in a way that enriches your life rather than overwhelms it. By prioritizing, setting goals, managing your time, and celebrating small wins, you can turn your eclectic mix of interests into a harmonious symphony of fulfillment and achievement.